What's up, Belmont family? It's day 2 of the shut-in. Everybody's hopefully staying home, staying safe, washing their hands like we showed you yesterday, keeping the soap, making sure that none of the germs can get anywhere near your face or your mouth. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we've got 4 things for you. More math facts to practice, the next 2 chapters of Maniac McGee, important announcements about what's going on, and then in the 4th there's going to be a special marble run show from my kids have been working on for the last hour trying to get it ready to go, so make sure you stay till the end for that. If you want to get more videos, you can do what every YouTuber says. You can smash that like and subscribe button right there. Today I got sick of being shut in, so I decided let me go and take a look around, see all this stuff. Obviously special effects, but still loving it. So without further ado, let's practice our math facts. Right, here I am back in the house ready to go with the math facts. We're going to do the ones we did yesterday, which was 2, 5, and 10. And then I'm going to teach you 3 nice and slow. Here we go with the 2s. Your hands go up. Belmont Tigers ready to roll. 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Are you ready to chant some more? Now you do it with me. I'll do it slow. Hands up. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Are you ready to chant some more? Now it's time for the 5s. The 5s are fast, so you got to get ready. Get those hands up. I'll do it slow the first time, then you do it with me. We'll do it fast the second time. Here we go. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Take a deep breath. Let's try it again. This time a little bit slower. Hands up. 1 finger for every number. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Take a deep breath. Now it's time for the 10s. 10s, you got to have your rhythm. You got to be ready to go. So you put the hands up. Every 2, you give the 3 claps. Here we go. Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Now you try it with me. I'll do it slow. Hands up. 10s. Here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. All right. Now it's time for the 3s. 3s are the fun one, but they're challenging. Sorry, I messed up. I'm just so excited about these 3s. All right, put your hands up like this. This one's got some gestures, got some rhymes. Here we go. 3s. Here we go. 3, 6, 9. We look fine. 12, 15. Math machine. 18, 21. This is fun. 24, 27. Almost done. 30, 33, 36. Do you like arithmetic? Take it nice and slow. It's not as hard, and plus you can always rewind, unlike in the classroom, and just keep practicing over and over again until you get it right. Here we go with the 3s. 3, 6, 9. We look fine. 12, 15. Math machine. 18, 21. This is fun. 24, 27. Almost done. 30, 33, 36. Do you like arithmetic? So now when we come back tomorrow, we're going to practice 2s, 3s, 5s, and 10s. You can practice them anywhere. You don't have to throw up the fingers. Just practice saying the chant, and that way you'll be able to remember your multiplication, all right? All right, stay tuned because we're about to cut over into Maniac McGee for chapters 3 and 4. See you over there. All right, back with chapter 3 of Maniac McGee. Here we go. As for the first person to actually stop and talk with Maniac, that would be Amanda Beale, and it happened because of a mistake. It was around 8 in the morning, and Amanda was heading for grade school like hundreds of other kids all over town. What made Amanda different was that she was carrying a suitcase, and that's what caught Maniac's eye. He figured she was like him, running away, so she stopped and said, "Hi." Amanda was suspicious. Who was this white stranger kid, and what was he doing in the East End where almost all the kids were black, and why was he saying that? But Amanda Beale was also friendly, so she stopped and said, "Hi, back." "Are you running away?" Jeffrey asked her. Said Amanda. Jeffrey pointed at the suitcase. Amanda frowned, then thought, then laughed. She laughed so hard she began to lose her balance, so she set the suitcase down and sat on it so she could laugh some more. When at last she could speak, she said, "I'm not running away. I'm going to school." She saw the puzzlement on his face. She got off the suitcase and opened it up right there on the sidewalk. Jeffrey grasped. Books! Books, all right. Both sides of the suitcase crammed with them. Dozens more than anyone would ever need for homework. Jeffrey fell to his... He and Amanda in the suitcase were like a rock in a stream. The schoolgoers just flowed to the left and right around them. He turned his head this way and that to read the titles. He lifted the books on top to see the ones beneath. There were fiction books and non-fiction books, who did it books and let's be friends books, and what is it books, and how to books, and how not to books, and just regular kid books. On the bottom was a single volume from an encyclopedia, the letter A. "My library," Amanda Beale said proudly. Somebody called, "Gonna be late for school, girl!" Amanda looked up. The street was almost deserted. She slammed the suitcase shut and started hauling it along. Jeffrey took the suitcase from her. "I'll carry it for you." Amanda's eyes shot wide. She hesitated, then snatched it back. "Who are you?" she said. "Jeffrey McGee." "Where are you from? West End?" "No." She stared at him. She stared at the flap-soled sneakers. Back in those days, the town was pretty much divided. The East End was black. The West End was white. "I know you're not from the East End." "I'm from Bridgeport." "Bridgeport? Over there? That Bridgeport?" "Yep." "Well, why aren't you there?" "That's where I'm from, not where I am." "Great. So where do you live?" "I don't know. Maybe here?" "Maybe." Amanda shook her head and chuckled. "Maybe you better go ask your mother and father if you live here or not." She speeded up. Jeffrey dropped back for a second, then caught up with her. "Why are you taking all these books to school?" Amanda told him. She told him about her little brother and sister at home who loved to crayon every piece of paper they could find, whether or not it already had type all over it, and about the dog Bow Wow who chewed everything he could get his teeth on. And that, she said, was why she carried her whole library to and from school every day. First bell was ringing. The school was still a block away. Amanda ran. Jeffrey ran. "Can I have a book?" he said. "They're mine," she said. "Just to read, to borrow." "No." "Please, what's your name?" "Amanda." "Please, Amanda, anyone. Your shortest one." "I'm late now, and I'm not going to stop and open up this thing again. Forget it." He stopped. "Amanda!" She kept running, then stopped, turned, glared. What kind of kid was this anyway? Grungy, ripped shirt. Why didn't he go back to Bridgeport or the West End, where he belonged? Bother some white girl up there. And why was she still standing here? "So what if I loaned you one, huh? How am I going to get it back?" "I'll bring it back, honest. If it's the last thing I do, what's your address?" 728 Sycamore, but you can't come there. You can't even be here." Second bell rang. Amanda screamed, whirled, ran. "Amanda!" She stopped, turned. "Ooh!" she squeaked. She tore a book from the suitcase, hurled it at him. "Here!" and dashed into school. The book came flapping like a wounded duck and fell at Jeffrey's feet. It was the story of the Children's Crusade. Jeffrey picked it up, and Amanda Beale was late to school for the very first time in her life. Chapter 4. Jeffrey made 3 other appearances that first day. The first one came on the high school field during 11th grade gym class. Most of the students were playing soccer, but about a dozen were playing football because they were on varsity, and the gym teacher was also the football coach. The star quarterback, Brian Dennehy, wound up and threw a 60-yarder to his favorite receiver, James Hands Down, who was streaking a fly pattern down the sideline. But the ball did not ever reach Hands. Just as he was about to cradle it in his loving hands, it vanished. By the time he recovered from the shock, a little kid was weaving upfield through the varsity football players. Nobody laid a paw on him. When the kid got down to the soccer field, he turned and punted the ball. It sailed back up over the up-looking gym classers, spiraling more perfectly than anything Brian Dennehy had ever thrown, and landed in the outstretched hands of a still-stunned Hands Down. And then the kid ran off. There's one other thing, something that not a single one of them believed unless they had seen it. But up until the punt, the kid had done every single thing with just one hand, because in his other hand, he was holding a book. Chapter 5. Later on that first day, there was a commotion in the West End, at 803 Oriel Street to be exact. This, of course, was the infamous address of Finsterwald. Kids stayed away from Finsterwalds the way old people stay away from Saturday afternoon matinees at a $2 movie. And what would happen to a kid who didn't stay away? That was a question best left unanswered. Suffice it to say that occasionally, even today, if some poor, raggedy, nicotine-stained wretch is seen shuffling through town, word will spread that this was once a bright and happy, normal kid who wandered onto Finsterwald's property. That's why if you valued your life, you never went into the Finsterwald backyard. It was a graveyard filled with tennis balls and baseballs and footballs and frisbees and model airplanes and boomerangs that didn't come back. That's why his front steps are the only ones that nobody will sit on. That's why no paper kid will deliver there. And that's why no kid on a snow day would ever shovel that sidewalk, not if you paid him $1 billion. So it was late afternoon and screams were coming from Finsterwald's. The screamer was a boy whose name is lost to us. For this day, he disappears from the pages of history. He was about 10 years old, we think. His name was probably Arnold Jones. Arnold Jones was being thrown in the air above Finsterwald's backyard fence. The hoisters were 3 or 4 high school kids. This is what they did for fun. Arnold Jones had apparently forgotten one of the cardinal rules of survival. Never let yourself be near the Finsterwalds and high school kids at the same time. So there's Arnold Jones, held up by all these hands, flopping and kicking and shrieking like some poor Aztec human sacrifice about to be poured off the pyramid. No, no, he pleads, please. And so, of course, they do it. They dump him right into the backyard. And now they back off, not laughing, just watching the back door of the house. As for Arnold Jones, he claims that the instant he hits the ground, he's on his knees now, all hunched and puckered. His eyes goggle at the back door as the doorknob. He's paralyzed. He looks like a mouse in front of a snake. Now, after a minute or two of breathless silence, one of the high schoolers thinks he hears something. He whispers, "Listen." It's a faint, tiny noise. A rattling, chittering, chattering, and getting louder. They're his teeth. They're chattering like drums, and now, as if his mouth isn't big enough to hold the chatter, the rest of his body starts to shake. First it's a buzz like trembling, then the shakes, and finally it's as if every bone in his body is trying to jump out of its skin. A high schooler squawks, "He's got the Finsterwallies!" Yeah, they yell, and they stand there cheering and clapping. Years later, their accounts differ. One says the kid from nowhere jumped over the fence, hopped over it without even putting a hand to boost himself further. Another kid says that they opened the back gate and walked right in. Real or not, they all saw the same kid, not much bigger than Arnold Jones, raggedy, flap-soled sneakers, book in one hand. They saw him walk right up to Arnold, and they saw Arnold look up at him and faint dead away. Such a bad case of the Finsterwallies did Arnold have that the body kept shaking for half a minute after he fell asleep. The phantom Samaritan stuck the book between his teeth, crouched down, picked up Arnold Jones' limp body, threw it over his shoulder, and walked him out of there like a big old sack of flour. Unfortunately... All right, time for those announcements that I promised you. I've got 3 big things I want to remind you of. First, tomorrow is the only day that you or your parents can go by and pick up any medicine, including asthma pumps that are sitting at the nurse. They will be there from 9 until 12 p.m. It's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is there's still free breakfast and free lunch that you can pick up every day from 10 a.m. to noon at Belmont Academy. So make sure you're getting up there. You don't need to call in advance or anything. You just show up and they'll make sure that you have some food if you need it. Take a couple extra for snacks or whatever, or for little brother or little sister. And then the third announcement is that you've got to be checking in on your work, signing in as much as possible, and make sure your parents know that they can call me if they need anything, or you can reach out if you need anything, because we're here to help. I know it's a tough time, but we're all going to work on it. Next thing you're going to see is this marble run, so make sure you stay tuned for about 30 more seconds. Here we go.